sure you have at least one blanket, maybe two, a couple of blocks. You might even have your blocks near the front of your mat, but not too close behind you, maybe on the sides of the mat, just in case you want them moving forward. So you might have them nearby. And we're going to start in a restorative pose. So you'll find one blanket or a towel, and this is how the blanket usually comes off the stack, and you'll unfold it one fold, and you'll take the fringe towards the back of your mat, make sure it's nice and smooth, and you'll take the rounded edge and you'll roll it in about 2, maybe 3 inches. So this is going to go across the length just below your shoulder blades, really at the bra strap line. Now, if you do this quite often with me or over a foam roller, you're welcome to roll it all the way. I like to start a little bit modestly. So about 2 to 3 inches. I like to leave a little area there for my head. And if this is new to you, I'm going to show you my favorite way to come into it. There's no one way to do anything. So the knees will be bent, they'll stay bent. You'll bring your forearms to the blanket. I like to scooch my tailbone a little bit forward, broaden my collarbones, and as I exhale, I'll roll down, tap just below the shoulder blades, support the base of the skull, and slowly ease the head back. And I'll meet you here. The arms might open out into goalpost arms. And once you arrive, if it's too high or too low, you might support your head and slide a little bit back or scooch a little bit forward. Scooch is a Sanskrit term. But really take your time here. If it's too high, notice if you can breathe here, if the breath becomes fast or uncomfortable. So as you really take your time to lower it or even get rid of it if you like. The feet might widen, the knees might drop together. If arms don't feel good in those goalpost arms, you might instead reach your arms to the sides like the letter T. You get to choose. But take time to be absolutely comfortable. Allowing the bones of the skull to melt back. Collarbones are broadening. The fronts of the shoulders are melting to the back to the shoulders. The arms are heavy. And as we bake here together, I'm going to read a passage from the Book of Awakening entitled The Spider and the Sage. The Spider and the Sage. Author begins by writing, "I would rather be fooled than not believe." Goes on to say, "In India, there is a story about a kind, quiet man who would pray in the Ganges every morning. One day after praying, he saw a poisonous spider struggling in the water and cupped his hands to carry it ashore. As he placed the spider on the ground, it stung him. Unknowingly, his prayers for the world diluted the poison. The next day, the same thing happened. On the third day, the kind man was knee-deep in the river, and sure enough, there was the spider, legs frantic in the water. As the man went to lift the creature yet again, the spider said, 'Why do you keep lifting me? Can't you see I will sting you every time? Because that is what I do.' And the kind man cupped his hands about the spider, replying, 'Because that is what I do.' There are many reasons to be kind, but perhaps none is as compelling as the spiritual fact that it is what we do. It is how the inner organ of being keeps pumping. Spiders sting, wolves howl, ants build small hills that no one sees, and human beings lift each other, no matter the consequence, even when other beings sting. Some say this makes us a sorry lot that never learns, but to me it holds the same beauty as berries breaking through ice on a snow every spring. It is what quietly feeds the world. After all, the berries do not have any sense of purpose or charity. They are not altruistic or self-sacrificing. They simply grow to be delicious because that is what they do. As for us, if things fall, we will reach for them. If things break, we will try to put them together. If loved ones cry, we will try to soothe them, because that is what we do. I have often reached out, and sometimes it feels like a mistake. Sometimes, like the quiet man lifting a spider, I have been stung. But it doesn't matter, because that is what I do. That is what we do. It is the reaching out that is more important than the sting. In truth, I'd rather be fooled than not believe. Bringing your attention to your breath, please. Bringing your attention to your breath. We'll lift the knees right over the ankles, reset the feet so they're about hip bone distance. Knees stay bent, feet anchored to the earth. And begin to slide your arms or reach your arms down towards your feet over that blanket roll. The palms can turn down or the palms can turn in. You get to choose. But keep the front of the shoulders melting back so the arms stay nice and heavy. And bring your attention into your right arm, please. On an inhale, allow that right arm to reach straight up towards the ceiling, 90 degrees. As you exhale here, allow the arm bone to soften down into its socket. You might stay here. Or on your next inhale, reach your arm back towards the earth, or maybe there's support behind you. Maybe there's a block or a blanket there to support under the arm. Just an option. Stay and breathe. Once again, the palm can turn open, the palm can turn in. Take a nice inhale here. And as if through dense water, exhale that right arm back up towards the ceiling and all the way back down. And pausing at the bottom. And now left arm, inhale, left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Pausing here, exhale, allow the arm bone to soften down into its socket. You might stay right here or inhale that left arm back towards the earth behind you. Maybe there's support, a block, or a blanket holding the arm. Breathe. Let's take one more inhale here. And as if through dense water, exhale that left arm back up towards the ceiling and all the way back down alongside the hip. Each movement, one breath this time. On an inhale, right arm reaches up, maybe all the way back to the floor or support. And exhale, right arm up towards the ceiling and all the way back down, pausing at the bottom. And inhale, left arm reaches up, maybe all the way back. Pause at the top. And exhale, left arm up towards the ceiling and all the way back down, pausing at the bottom. Let's try both arms together. On an inhale, both arms reach up, maybe all the way back. Pausing at the top. And as you exhale, arms reach up towards the ceiling and all the way back down, pausing at the bottom. And next time we'll stay. So inhale, breathe your arms up, maybe all the way back. And as we stay and breathe, once again, maybe there's support holding your arms. Maybe the arms widen or lift back up. Knit the front ribs just a little bit towards your back ribs. And we'll come onto the heel edge of your right foot, please. Come onto the heel edge of your right foot and slide your right leg to the top of your yoga mat. All 5 toes face the ceiling. Heel back, thigh bone back. And come onto the heel edge of your left foot. And slide your left leg long to the top of your yoga mat. It's not where you're going, it's how you get there. All 5 toes face the ceiling. Heel back, thigh bone back. The inner thighs rolling back. Stretching from feet to your fingertips. You might even wiggle, you might yawn, you might make a little sound. And then one knee at a time, bend your knees. And very slowly we'll roll to your right side just for a moment. Just enough to lift enough out of the pose that you can move your blanket to the side. And roll onto your back, nice and easy, nice and easy. And once you arrive, once again, we'll keep the knees bent. You might even widen your feet as wide as your mat. Drop your knees together once again. And as we bake here, let's bring one hand to your low belly, one hand to your heart. Allowing the back of the body to be received by the earth. To soften, to melt, to be held. And we'll slide your bottom hand up to stack at your top hand. And with both hands resting sweetly at the heart, calling to mind your heartfelt intention, dedication, or prayer for your practice, your day, or out into the world. Good. And then once your intention or prayer is clear, let's reach your arms straight up towards the ceiling, 90 degrees. Turn your palms in towards one another. Good. And bend your elbows, catching hold of opposite elbow joints. Good. Allow the arm bones to get heavy. And take an inhale when you're ready. As you exhale, glide the elbows to the right. A little bit or a lot of it. And inhale to center, nice and slow. And exhale, glide over to the left. Without forcing, just an invitation here. And repeating, inhale, center. Exhale, elbows right. Maybe the head rolls to the left. And then inhaling, everything center. And exhale, elbows left, head rolls to the right. Good. Let's do that one more time, just like that. Elbows right, head to the left. Inhaling, center. And exhale, left, head to the right. Good. Inhaling, center. We'll take a little pause here. You might switch the hand that's on top or the forearm that's on top. Once again, allow the arm bones to get heavy. We'll take an inhale here, and we'll start to the left. So exhale, elbows glide to the left. Pause. Inhale, center. Exhale, elbows to the right. Pause. We'll inhale, center. Let's add the head and neck. So exhale, elbows left, head rolls to the right. Inhale, center. And exhale, elbows right, head to the left. And inhale, center. And keeping the head neutral, exhale, elbows to the left. And almost like you're rocking a child, roll your arms down towards your navel and up over to the other side. But be curious here. Allow this to be a bit of an exploration. So rocking gently from side to side. Maybe the movement is smaller. So making a bit of a crescent shape with the arms. You might explore bringing the arms a little higher, maybe in line with the chin or maybe the nose. If it feels good, you might start to make circles with the arms. So just an option. Without forcing, without pushing. Just exploring. Reversing the movement at any time. A few more breaths here. Just to enjoy. Or rest. Let's say one more, maybe two more breaths. Good. And when you feel ready, you'll unwind the arms alongside the body. Allow the arms to be nice and heavy. Good. Heel toe your feet about hip bone distance. And nice and slow, one knee at a time, we'll hug both knees all the way into the chest. And as you hug the knees in, you might rock a little bit from side to side or find some intuitive movement here. And while we're here, let's go ahead, bring your hands to your kneecaps, fingers face the toes. Apanasana. Inhale, knees move forward, just enough that your hands stay glued to your knees. Exhale, bend your elbows, hug your knees in or wide. Do that again. Inhale, forward. Exhale, draw them in. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Let's start to make circles with the knees. So inhale, knees go forward, out, apart, and back in. Forward, out, apart, and back in. Maybe the big toes stay glued together. Just an option. You might imagine you're moving through dense water. Maybe the Ganges. You might reverse the direction. Good. And the next time the knees draw in, we'll pause. We'll keep the right knee hugging in. Slide your left leg long to the top of your yoga mat, just like we did earlier. And you're welcome to catch your right shin or the thigh, or you might use a strap around the back of the thigh. You choose. Breathe. That left foot is flexing. Back thigh is rooting. The side body is lengthening. And shoulders are heavy. Head heavy. And take a nice inhale. As you exhale, both knees in. And we'll switch sides. So left knee in, right leg to the top of your mat. Flexing through that right foot and ankle, heel is back. If the heel is hovering, soften your right knee. Good. Anchor the thigh bone back towards the earth. Side waist is long. The shoulders are soft. You might adjust your hands on the thigh. You choose. And allow the weight of the head to really be cradled by the earth. And take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, hug both knees in. You might rock a little bit from side to side. And then we'll roll to rest on your right side. If right doesn't feel good, roll to the other side. We'll take a little longer pause here. You might use your upper arm as a pillow. And pressing your top palm down, slowly bring yourself up. And we're going to make our way into Balasana, child's pose. Now, you might have your blankets nearby. If you need to pad your knees, please pad your knees. We're going to spend a a little time on the knees today. So unless you have a really thick sticky mat like I do, I actually have 2 thick sticky mats, you might slide padding under your knees. Knees can be parallel or they can be wide, you choose. And really lengthen up and over your thighs. Arms can be forward or the arms can be back. You choose. And as we bake here, send breath into the back of the body. Send breath into the back of the body. Good. Now if the knees are together, especially if the shins are elevated with that blanket, the forehead may or may not touch the earth comfortably. So if it's not, you might slide a second blanket or even a block under your forehead. And take time to be comfy here. You might place support on your shins and breathe. Sending a breath into the back of the body. Good. A few more breaths here. And then stretch your arms forward, gaze between your thumbs, and inhale forward to a tabletop position. Hands and knees position on the mat. Wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Grow your spine nice and long. Bring your attention into your hands. So the fingers are wide, not jazz hands, but just a little space between the fingers so they're energized without losing energy. Creases of your wrists lining up with the front edge of your sticky mat. And as the hands root down, especially that index finger and your thumb, roll the upper arm bones open. Broaden your collarbones. Draw your navel softly towards your spine. And let's take an inhale to the roof of your mouth, please. And an exhale down to the base of the spine. And we'll follow that path of breath, cat-cow. Inhale, drawing your heart through the gate of the shoulders. And as you exhale, round the spine, press the floor away. Hollow out the low belly. Again, inhale, draw your heart forward. A little pause at the top. And exhale, round. One more time. Inhale, draw your heart forward. And exhale, round. We'll turn this into Chakravarkasana. So let's inhale, heart forward. And as you exhale, send the hips back towards or into child's pose. Hips to heels, arms can stay forward. As you inhale, come forward to cow pose once again. And as you exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. And one more time, inhale, draw it forward. And exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. From child's pose, slide your hands back to your knees, round yourself up to sit, and lift high into your shins and your ankles. Once again, you might use your blanket if you don't have it here already. So we'll add on a little bit. So relaxing your arms down, allow your arms to be heavy. Palms can turn forward or the palms can turn in. You get to choose. Rooting your shins and your lower legs to the earth. Rebound the crown of the head taller towards the sky. And as you inhale, reach your arms up, gaze forward. And as you exhale, hips back, bow the arms forward. On an inhale, cow pose, draw yourself forward. Listen carefully. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. Hands stack on your low back. Palms will face the ceiling. On an inhale, rise to your shins. Sweep your arms around, down and up. Gaze forward. As you exhale, hips back, bow the arms forward. Maybe there's support on your forehead. Inhale, draw yourself forward, cow pose. Exhale, hips to heels, hands to your low back, palms will stack. Palms face the sky. Again, inhale, sweep your arms around, down and up. So there's that double spiraling in the arms. As you exhale, hips back, bow the arms forward. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. Hands to your low back. And that is yours. Let's take 2 more. If you get lost, gaze forward. Or make something up. I want you to breathe. Allowing this to be a moving meditation. One more time. And the next time you come to child's pose, we'll rest. Arms can unwind. Arms can unwind. If it feels good, reach the arms forward once again. Gaze forward between your hands and bring your elbows. Actually, let's do this. Let's inhale forward to a tabletop position. And you'll bring your elbows down, interlace your fingers, and we'll allow the forehead to softly touch down. If it feels better to press your palms, be my guest. So the elbows are touching down, the fingers are reaching to the sky. If this doesn't work in your body, you might do the same thing in a child's pose shape. Breathe. Good. If you're in that tabletop variation, you might even walk your elbows a little bit forward, or I'll do that with you. You're really finding length from your elbows to your hips. Your hips stay right over the knees here. Good. And then if that's you, begin to unwind your arms, separate your hands, gaze forward, and we'll inhale forward to a tabletop position. If those blankets are in your way, you might move them to the sides. I like keeping that blanket under the knees, just an option. We're gonna do a little more knee stuff. I'm gonna have my blocks nearby because I know where we're going. So coming back to that tabletop position, you might even set those blocks underneath your hands, just an option. And we're going to step this right foot forward. It can be a tricky transition. I like to elevate the floor up to make it a little bit easier. We'll curl those back toes under. Curl those back toes under. Pick up that knee, scooch it back a little bit and lower it down so you're on the very top edge of it. You're not sitting right on that patella. So do pad the knees if you need to. Good. Allow your sternum bone to lengthen forward, and blocks are really helpful here. If your shoulders are rounding off your back, elevate your hands a little bit or a lot of it, and you might play with the height of the blocks. If this is really accessible, we'll heel-toe your right foot about 6 inches to the right, walking your hands or those blocks inside that foot. We'll keep the shin hugging in towards a midline, and we'll add a little movement into the shape. So as you inhale, draw the hips back just a little bit. We'll start really small here. And as you exhale, curl your tailbone under, ripple your heart forward. Good. We'll play with that. So inhale, draw it back. And as you exhale, ripple it forward. And as we explore here, about 3 more breaths, you're welcome to take some of the bend out of that front knee. You might even flex that foot, just an option. And exhale, rebend. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Your back heel is hugging in towards the center. Good. 1 more breath. We'll exhale forward and stay. So from here, we'll plant your left hand to the edge of the mat, either to the block or to the floor. And let's bring your right hand to the top of your right thigh. Bring your right hand to the top of your right thigh. Hug your inner thighs together. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, press your right palm down, turn your heart to the right. Turn your heart to the right, find a little cobra in your upper back. And we're going to reach that right arm back towards that left heel. I like to roll that thumb open, but you might play a little bit with the rotation of the arm bone. You might gaze at the thumb, or you might even gaze forward. You might even roll your gaze down at your bottom hand. Now listen carefully. You're welcome to stay here, or take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, sweep that arm diagonally towards the top left corner of your yoga mat. So it's almost like you're shaking somebody's hand in a really awesome way. So your outer right hip is tacking back. Your right arm is reaching diagonally across the body. You might stay here, or we'll take 3 arm circles. So inhale, reach that arm up, back, and then trace the horizon line, top left corner. Again, inhale up, back, upper left corner. And last time, inhale up, back, upper left corner. And this time we'll inhale, reach that arm up. And as you exhale, plant that hand down. Good. We'll heel toe this this right foot back to where you started. You might scooch that left knee in a little bit. And we'll bring this right knee back to meet your left knee. A couple choices here. Child's pose, or it might feel really yummy to come into downward facing dog. Just an option, just an option. Now if you're in dog, keep those upper arm bones rolling open, index finger and thumb grounding down. You might bend your knees. You might walk it out. You might say, nah, dog's not for me today, and come back to child's pose. I'll meet you in child's pose. Knees might be wide, big toes touch. We'll keep the arms forward. Keep the arms forward. You might circle your wrists. Good. We should probably take the second side. So when you're ready with your arms forward, gaze between your thumbs, and we'll inhale forward to that tabletop position once again. You might have your blocks nearby. And very mindfully, we'll step that left foot through. So once again, feel free to elevate your blocks as much as you need to make that a little more accessible. Curl your back toes under, pick up that knee, scooch it back, lower it down. We'll keep the toes curled under today, but that right heel is hugging in towards the center. Sometimes it likes to wander out, right? Now, if this is really accessible, you might heel toe your left foot about 6 inches to the left. You might play with the height of the blocks. This side's going to feel different from the other side. If it doesn't, you're on the wrong side. And we'll find a little movement here to start. So as you inhale, we'll draw the hips back a little bit. And as you exhale, tailbone curls under, wave your heart forward. Good. Again, inhale, draw the hips back. And exhale, wave it forward. You have about 3 more breaths. You're welcome to explore a little more range of motion here. You might take some of the bend out of the knee. You might flex that foot. Just an option. Breathe. Let's take 1 more breath. And as you exhale forward, we'll stay sternum bone forward. And we'll plant your right hand to the edge of the mat or to your block on the edge of the mat. And we'll bring your left hand to the top of your left thigh. Good. Hug your inner thighs together. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, press your palm down, turn your heart to the left. Now, as we pause here, broaden your collarbones. And just for fun, gaze down at your bottom hand and reach that left arm back towards the wall behind you. You might stay there. You might play with the rotation of the arm. You're welcome to gaze to the side or even take a peek at that arm, see what it's doing. Just an option. You get to choose. Now you might stay here We'll take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, trace that horizon line. Bring that arm towards the top right corner of your yoga mat. And we'll stay and breathe. So once again, like you're shaking somebody's hand in a really awesome way. As the fingertips reach, your outer left hip is tacking back. Good. You might stay here, or we'll take 3 arm circles. Inhale, reach that arm up, back, and we'll trace the horizon line, top right corner of your mat. 2 more times. Inhale, back, and exhale, trace that horizon line. And last time, inhale. Good. Exhale, trace that horizon line. Good. And this time we'll inhale, reach that arm up. And as you exhale, lower the hand all the way down. Once again, we'll heel toe this left foot where it started. You might scoot your back knee in a little bit. And once again, either child's pose, or let's all come into downward facing doggy, please. If that blanket's in the way, you're welcome to move it out of the way. Downward facing dog, the knees might be generously bent. Thigh bones are reaching up and back. Spine is long. Upper arm bones rolling open. Index finger and thumb rooting down. Really all 10 fingers, but especially that index finger and thumb. You might walk it out. And then very, very slowly, let's walk the hands towards the feet and the feet towards the hands. We'll meet at the center of the mat. Be careful if that blanket is still there. I'm actually gonna just move my blanket out of the way. I'll meet you in a forward fold. Maybe the feet widen. Arm variation of your choosing. You might catch hold of opposite elbows here if that feels good. Or you might allow the arms just to relax down towards gravity. Breathe. You might find a little movement, bending and taking some of the bend out of the knees without overdoing. And then unwinding your arms. Heel toe your feet about hip bone distance apart. Soften your knees forward. Walk your hands to your shins or your thighs, and as you inhale, halfway rise, Ardha Uttanasana. Spine is long. So bend the knees enough that you can really lengthen your spine out of your low back, hips, and pelvis. The base of the skull is lengthening forward, the back of the skull is lifting towards the sky. And then we'll bring the hands to the hips here, elbows face up, and inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, relax your arms all the way down. Tadasana. Good. Once you arrive, I want you to find your strap, please. Find your strap. A strap or a belt or a scarf. And we'll bring the feet about 3 feet apart. About 3 feet apart. Bend and straighten your knees a few times, really anchor down into the earth. Good. And then keep the knees bending, groins a bit deep. I don't mind if you stick your buttocks back a little bit. And we'll bring the strap across your sacrum, that triangular plate at the base of the spine, and the knuckles will face the wall behind you. The knuckles will face the wall behind you. Now, I like to start with the hands as wide as the sacrum. If you often interlace, you're welcome to walk your fingers closer. If this already feels a little bit tight or you can't breathe, widen your hands wider, it's fine. But we'll explore a little bit here. So with the knees soft, groin soft, tap your elbows back. Tack your elbows back. Broaden your collarbones and roll the upper arm bones open. Now, if the elbows are still winging to the sides, it's a nice indication to try it with the hands a little bit wider, So once again, see what it feels like to tack your elbows back, broaden your collarbones, and roll the upper arm bones open. Good. So we'll start upright here. begin to slowly bring the strap back so the forearms line up with the upper arms. And keep the elbows soft or bent. Feel free to widen your hands on the strap. And if your head starts to lean forward, keep your head stacking right over your heart. And you might play with this. You might even sway the arms a little bit from side to side. It's a funny action to me. I don't know why. And I want to give you the option to stay upright or re-bend your elbows, glue your hands to your sacrum, bend your knees forward. Take an inhale, lift your heart, look up. And as you exhale, bow forward, maybe the knuckles lift, forearms lift. Keep rolling the upper arm bones open. Feel free to widen your hands. And you might once again rock the arms a little bit from side to side. I love to play with the rotation of the arm bones here with that strap. You sometimes interlace, and that's not better necessarily, it's just different. Here we can play a little more with range of motion or lubricating the joint. Breathe. Good. Beautiful. And very, very slowly, you'll re-bend your elbows, glue your hands to your sacrum. Lift the front of the shoulders to the backs of the shoulders, elbows to the sky. Bend your knees forward. And as you inhale, just halfway rise, parallel to the floor. Stay for your exhale, navel to spine, back of the neck long. Root down, inhale, come all the way up to stand. And exhale when you get there. Good. You'll put your strap near the top of your yoga mat. You might step or heel toe your feet a little bit closer together. Shake out anything that needs shaking. And then I want you to find your blocks, please. Find your blocks if you have them. If you don't worry about it. And we'll take a nice wide stance on our mat lengthwise. Reach your arms out, reach your blocks out. And for today, let's bring the blocks behind your heels, nice and tall. I'll give some modifications with the blocks. If you don't want to use the blocks, you certainly don't have to. Let's start with the right leg. So deep within the hip socket, we'll pivot the right toes forward. And we'll pivot the back toes slightly forward, about 15 degrees, heel to arch alignment. Just enough that you can keep that outer foot anchored, inner arch lifting, inner ankle, inner shin, inner thigh. Let's inhale, reach your arms open. And as you exhale, bend the front knee forward, warrior two. Good. Great. The arms are feeling fatigued, bring your hands to your hips, totally fine. That front knee is lunging forward as if it's going to tap the wall in front of you. Once again, the outer left-footed is anchoring down, inseam lifting up. And then from here, roll your palms open, melt your shoulder blades onto your back, turn your palms forward, gaze forward. Move in and out of this shape. So as you inhale, straighten the knee, give yourself a hug, please. And as you exhale, press your arms open, Vira 2, gazing right out over your front middle finger. Good. Again, inhale, straighten the knee, give yourself a hug. Exhale, warrior 2. One more time. Inhale, give yourself a hug. Exhale, warrior 2 will stay and breathe. Low body is anchored. Side body stays nice and long here. And collarbones are broad. Draw your shoulder blades towards one another. Take an inhale. As you exhale, hinge forward, either forearm to your thigh or the hand to the block at the highest level. Now, last week we had the block inside. I like the idea of the block inside, but you get to choose. Outside is a little more intense, I think, but I want to give you the option. Good. From here, roll your gaze down, and we're going to begin to bend your top elbow. Bring your hand to your sacrum. So the palm is going to face the wall behind you, and lean your top shoulder head back. Lean your top shoulder head back. From here, as you inhale, slowly gaze forward, reach the arm up. And as you exhale, hand to your low back, roll the gaze down. Good. Again, inhale, reach the arm up, gaze forward or gaze up, you choose. And exhale, arm down, gaze down. And the next time we'll stay. So inhale, reach the arm up. We'll keep the arm up as you exhale, slowly roll the gaze down. And really slowly begin to straighten your front leg. Keep that right big toe mound anchored. The kneecap is lifting up without locking back. You're welcome to slide that block back a little bit. And then turn your heart forward. Broaden your collarbones. Maybe you reach up more. Maybe you gaze up. I love triangle pose for so many reasons, but it can be a really good neck strengthener. Breathe. We'll take one more inhale here. As you exhale, slowly gaze down. Rebend your front knee forward. Draw your navel towards your spine. Reach through your back arm. Inhale, warrior two. We'll straighten that front knee. Bring your hands to your hips. You might move that block out of the way. And we'll parallel the feet. Parallel the feet. Root your feet down. Bend and straighten your knees a few times. Good. And from here, let's do this. Pivot your heels in, toes out. You might even narrow your stance a little bit. So heels in, toes out. Bring your hands to your heart. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees into goddess pose. Good. Check out your knees. Make sure they're moving in the same direction as your feet. If they're not, adjust your feet. You might even rock a little bit from side to side. Good. You might stay with this. You might stay in the center or add a little movement. So as you inhale, reach your arms up. You might look up. And as you exhale, goddess pose. Good. Let's two more. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale. Good. And one more time. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, goddess pose. And this time, inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, reach your arms out to the sides. And parallel your feet. Bend your knees forward, turn your palms forward, take an inhale. And as you exhale, a hinge forward, hands to the floor or blocks. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. So bend your knees enough, the spine can really lengthen. And then exhale, bow back in. 5 breaths. Arm variation of your choosing, I'm going to give an option today to take your first 2 fingers, peace fingers, around the big toes. This is Kate's favorite pose. So first 2 fingers, peace fingers around the big toes. The thumbs might touch those first 2 fingers. You might even inhale, lengthen your spine longer. And as you exhale, bow back in. So the elbows are widening to the sides. Shoulder blades shrugging up and onto the back. And there's freedom in your head and your neck here. If this doesn't feel good, undo it. Make a new choice. And then when you're ready, release your toes one at a time. With your hands right under your shoulders, take an inhale, lengthen your spine. The knees can be soft or bent. As you exhale, hands to your hips. And inhale, rise. Good. Exhale at the top. Let's take the second side. So deep within the hip socket, we'll pivot the left toes forward. Right toes slightly forward, heel to arch alignment. On an inhale, stretch out your arms. And as you exhale, bend the front knee forward. Viratu. Feel free to bring your hands to your hips, totally fine. So as that front knee lunges forward, what would it feel like to lean that right thigh bone back a little bit? How does that affect the entire back leg? Anchor the outer foot. Good. With your next inhale, go ahead, roll your palms open. Melt your shoulder blades on your back. And turn your palms forward, gaze forward. Good. And here we go. As you inhale, straighten the foot, straighten the knee, give yourself a hug. And as you exhale, press your arms open, warrior two. Good. Inhale, straighten the leg, give yourself a hug. And as you exhale, press open. Feel that resistance. Warrior two. Almost like you're stretching your mat. Good. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, Vira two and stay. Low body is anchored. The side waist is long. You might even lean that right kidney, right adrenal back a little bit. We'll take an inhale here. As you exhale, hinge forward, either forward thigh or the hand or the block on the outside, or maybe the inside of the heel. You get to choose. As you reach up more, very slowly glide your gaze down. Roll your gaze down. Check out the knee. Make sure it's right over the ankle. Foot is forward. And we'll bring the hand to your sacrum. The palm is going to turn back. And with the palm back, lean that top shoulder head back as the gaze stays down. As you inhale, reach the arm up, gaze forward. And as you exhale, bring the hand down, gaze down. Again, inhale, reach the arm up, gaze forward or gaze up. You get to choose. And as you exhale, lower the arm down, gaze down. Next time we'll stay. So inhale, reach the arm up. Keep the arm up. As you exhale, roll the gaze down. Keep that left big toe anchored. Very slowly begin to straighten that front knee so that kneecap is lifting up, 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 up without locking back. And we'll roll the gaze forward, heart forward. Broaden your collarbones. You might reach up more. You might lift your gaze up. And breathe. Good. Side waist nice and long, so feel free to slide your hand higher or narrow your stance. Totally fine. Very nice. We'll take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, slowly roll the gaze down. We'll bend the front knee forward, draw your navel towards your spine. Reach through your back arm. Inhale, warrior two. Straighten that front knee. Exhale your hands to your hips. Move the block to the side. Parallel your feet. And heel toe your feet. One heel toe closer. Feet either parallel. You might even pigeon toe your feet this time. See how that feels. Make sure your knees are happy. Tack your elbows back. Take an inhale, lift your heart, look up. And as you exhale, bow forward, hands to the earth or support. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. Option to stay here or walk forward to a wide-legged dog. You might even widen your hands a little wider than your shoulders. I like to stay high in my fingertips. If you like to flatten the palms, you can, but keep the base of the arch or keep the base of the wrist a little bit lifted. Hips reaching up and back, and heels are anchoring down. Breathe. You're welcome to bend the knees a lot or find a little movement here. Those upper arm bones wrapping open. One more breath. And slowly begin to walk your hands back right under your shoulders. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. Knees might be bent. As you exhale, bring your hands to your hips, elbows to the sky. And we'll inhale, come all the way up to stand. Good. Reach your arms open and either hop or heel toe your feet together. Very, very nice. And shake out anything that needs shaking. Good. So let's come back down onto our mats. And I want you to have a couple things. I want you to have one blanket folded at the top of your yoga mat. At the top of your yoga mat. Have your strap reachable. Have your strap reachable. And let's try this together. So make your way onto your belly, please. Take your time. Take your time. And we'll stack your hands under your forehead to start. Stack your hands under your forehead to start. And take time to be well settled here. Any low back itises, you might widen your feet as wide as your mat. Feet might be hip bone distance. We're not standing on the legs, so you might even bring the inseams of the legs all the way together. Curl your right toes under. Pick up your right knee, press out to that right heel. And lower the knee, flatten the foot. And then curl your left toes under, or other toes under. Pick up that knee, press out to the heel. Lower the knee, flatten the foot. You might try that one more time, or you might wag your hips a little bit from side to side. And then allow the low body to be heavy, toenails heavy, hip bones heavy. And then you'll lift your gaze up and you'll slide that blanket under your forehead. You'll find your strap without compromising your shoulders. You'll bring the strap across your sacrum just like we did earlier. Take time here, make sure the forehead is comfy. So holding the strap so the knuckles face the ceiling. Tap your elbows to the sky. Broaden your collarbones and roll the upper arm bones open. Take a breath, please. Take a nice inhale. Stay for your exhale. Anchor your pubic bone down, low body down. Inhale, upper body lifts. Keep those upper arm bones rolling open, and maybe the knuckles reach back. Palms can turn down, or you might play a little bit here, but keep those collarbones nice and broad. The back of the skull is pressing towards the sky. Soften your skin and breathe. You might send the breath into the roof of your mouth. Good. When you're ready, take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, lower and rest. You might rest in a cheek, or you might stack your hands under your forehead. You would choose. Give the tailbone a little bit of a wag. Good. We'll do that one more time. So when you're ready, bring your forehead down. Find your strap. Hands on your sacrum. You're welcome to walk your fingers closer, or if you like to interlace, be my guest. Tap your elbows to the sky. Broaden your collarbones. Roll the upper arm bones open. Take a breath, please. Exhale here, root your pubic bone down. On an inhale, everything lifts. Maybe the low body lifts. It doesn't have to. If it feels too much, root them down. Reach the back of the heart forward. Otherwise, stretching from your toes to the back of the heart. And from the tailbone to the base of the skull. Breathe. When you're done, take a nice inhale. As you exhale, lower and rest. Maybe other cheek. You might move that blanket. You might stack your hands under your forehead. You might wag the hips a bit. Or if it feels yummy, bend your knees and wag your shins from side to side. Wag your shins from side to side. When you are ready, lower legs rooted, plant your hands alongside your shoulders and very slowly press back to a wide-kneed child's pose. Knees as wide, maybe even wider than your mat. Big toes may or may not touch. Tailbone heavy, forehead heavy, and sending the breath into the back of the body. Sending the breath into the back of the body. Maybe slowly slide your hands back towards your knees and round yourself up to sit. We'll shift the hips to one side and stretch your legs forward. Make sure there's plenty of room behind you to roll back. And your favorite way, make your way onto your back, please. Once you arrive, you might hug your knees in, or you might take a full body stretch. You choose. And then as we get settled in, bending your knees, feet flat on the earth. Very slowly, let's hug your right knee in. Flex that right foot and ankle, and we'll cross that foot off the edge of your left thigh. You might stay here with the left foot on the earth, or as you exhale, let's hug that left thigh in, catching the thigh, or a strap, or your shin, and breathe. 10 breaths. Good. Left kneecap in line with your left mid collarbone. To intensify a bit, you might flex your left foot and ankle. You might bring the shin more parallel to the earth. You might even reach that left leg to the sky. This is really accessible. Just an option to catch your lower leg with your hands. Keep the low back fairly anchored here. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Breathe. On an exhale, we'll slowly set that left foot back down. We'll uncross, plant both feet down. And moving really slowly, exhale that left knee in. Flex that left foot and ankle, and we'll cross that foot off the edge of your right thigh. You might stay here, or as you exhale, draw that thigh in. You might catch the thigh or the shin. Right kneecap in line with your right mid collarbone. Maybe that right foot is flexing. Maybe the shin is more parallel to the earth. Maybe the leg is reaching to the sky. Maybe you catch the lower leg. Just an option. Breathe. So it's all connected. Notice if anything's rising back to your shoulders. You melt the shoulders back. One more breath. On an exhale, we'll set that right foot down. Unwind your left leg. And then we'll bring the arms back to those cactus arms, those goalpost arms. Widen your feet as wide as your sticky mat is wide. I like to lengthen my tailbone just a little bit longer. And all we're going to do is windshield wiper the knees from side to side, nice and easy. Nice and easy. So this would be the opposite action, right? You might stay with this. If it feels good, the next time the knees rock to the right, you might stay. Sometimes it feels good to slide your arms back. Bend your elbows, catch hold of those opposite elbows and allow the elbows to lengthen back and breathe. Just a few breaths here. Shoulders soft, sides of the neck soft. One more breath. Allow an inhale to lift the knees up. You might separate your arms, take a breath, and we'll exhale to the second side. Once again, you might move in and out. You might reach your arms back, catch hold of opposite elbows, and melt those elbows back. Right ribs back. Breathe. Shoulders soft. Sides of the neck soft. Just one more breath. Nice and slow. When you're ready, we'll inhale the knees up. Unwind your arms and give your knees a good hug, a good squeeze. You might rock a little bit from side to side. And if there's any final movement your body is craving on the way to Shavasana, honor that. If you're near a wall and would like to take your legs up a wall or come into Viparita Karani, might feel really yummy, maybe a full body stretch. But really take your time, set yourself up. Maybe the palms roll open in a mudra of receiving. And as the collarbones broaden, you might even walk the shoulder blades just a little bit closer, as if there were doors holding your heart. If the chin is tipping up, draw the chin down just enough that the base of the skull can lengthen. And feel how the earth is holding you here. Be held. Be received. And rest deeply. Shavasana. attention to the breath. Simply watching the inhale, watching the exhale. Watching the inhale, little pause. And watching the exhale, a little pause at the bottom. And continue. A few breaths just like that. You might stay with this, or you might wiggle your fingers and your toes. You might circle your wrists and your ankles. You might stretch or yawn or stay resting. Stay reclined today. But just like we started, we'll bring the palms to stack at your heart. And calling to mind that intention, dedication, or prayer. And we'll seal in our practice together with a soft Om sound. First a breath, take a nice inhale. And let it go. Inhale. Bringing your palms together and resting your thumb knuckles at your third eye point. And together we say, Namaste. Leave you here today. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.